got blues like it's jazz. Pull up in the jag.
Hey guys, so I decided that I was gonna do a nice quick little closure tutorial for you guys. I did the voiceover method because I found it was a lot easier for me to just record everything and then edit it and then just talk over it so you guys can like watch me with what I'm doing. It's not a super detailed tutorial, but I'm sure you guys will get the point, and for some beginners, I'm sure this will help point you guys in the right direction. So I'm just starting off with a braid pattern that I use for almost all of my installs, whether it's the side part or middle part. I just change the part over to the side, but the braid pattern is pretty much the same. I hope that makes sense. So right now I'm just taking her stocking cap and I'm placing it on her head. I use the Got To Be spray, but you can also use the Got To Be glue gel. And what I'm going to do is pretty much spray it on her hairline. If it's the gel, you just want to lay it on her hairline where the closure will lay in the front. You don't have to put it all the way across like with the frontal, since we're just doing a closure. And I'm sure you guys will get the picture. Once I finish this, I'm going to place her under the dryer. You just pretty much want to gauge how far the closure is going to reach on each side of her forehead. And then what I'm doing now is taking my needle and thread and I'm sewing around. Basically, I'm just guesstimating how much of space I think that the closure is going to take up on her head. So you want to take your needle and thread and sew around to fill that space so that you have the stocking cap right underneath the closure. You don't have to do it on the whole head. You just want to do the part where the closure is going to lay. And then you'll see after I finish sewing all this down, I'm just going to cut the rest of the excess cap off. And like I said, she goes under the dryer. Okay, now you'll see where I'm cutting the excess cap off. And just like when you're doing a frontal, you want to make sure you get as close to their hairline as possible. You don't want it to be touching their eyebrows, but you also don't want to get any of their natural hair stuck in the glue or anything like that. So you just want to make sure you're getting good coverage with your cap and cut it as close to the hairline as possible without possibly damaging or taking any of their baby hairs out in the front, their real baby hairs. And you just want to cut all the excess little frayed edges off the cap. Sometimes this part can be really tedious, so I just like to take my time, and I love to use those little bitty nail scissors. I don't know if those are like nail scissors or eyebrow scissors or whatever, but you can get them at Walgreens, CVS, any craft store. I think even Walmart might have them in like the beauty aisle where the makeup and stuff is. So right now I have a bunch of these little palettes from the beauty supply store. It's by Ruby Kisses. I'm just taking it and shade matching as close to her skin complexion as possible. When in doubt, always go a little bit darker instead of a little bit lighter on the scalp color, because you don't want it to look white, or like too light. I hate that like white cast when it's too light colored for the hairline. And you want to take that same color and put it on the back of the closure as well. So right now I'm just basically lining up the closure and figuring out exactly where I'm going to place it at before I start sewing. This part is very, very, very important because you need your client to hold it extremely tight for you guys. You'll see a couple of times I think we had to like keep stopping so she could like rehold it and make sure she's pulling it tight, because if this part isn't done correctly, the closure will be off, your stitching will be off, and you will probably be frustrated and just have to take it all out and re-sew it down, and you don't want to do that. So just make sure that your client is holding it really tight. Tell them whatever they do, don't move, or it's their hair. They want to be on fleek, right? So they're going to listen, period. So what you see me doing now is basically just switching back and forth each side. So I'll start and I'll put a couple of stitches on the left or right side. And then what I'll do is alternate sides and just keep sewing a little bit more and more. I hope this is making sense. Basically what I'm doing is ensuring that the closure is stitched tightly and securely on both sides. It's not lifting or loose or like lopsided on one side or have more tension on one side than the other. I've tried to like sew it all the way around before in one foul swoop, and by the time I got to the end and had it all sewed down and I looked at the closure, it was either like pushed back too much or slided or it wasn't right and I had to do it over. Right here, I basically just took my 91% alcohol. Actually, that was 99, but I didn't have anything else to use. But ladies, please use 91% to clean your client's scalp, or not scalp, but the forehead area. And then I'm taking my boho Skin Protect after cleaning the scalp, or I keep saying scalp, after cleaning the forehead, and I'm basically pressing that skin protectant on there just in case your client is allergic or anything like that. This will hopefully help in creating a barrier between that. It also helps if you have like oily skin or you sweat. It usually stops the glue from lifting so fast. And then basically after I spray that skin protectant down, I'm just taking my blow dryer and blow drying it thoroughly to make sure that that layer of skin protectant is dry before going ahead and applying my glue. Right here, basically I'm cutting off those two side tabs that are on closures, because if you don't cut them off, what will happen is your closure will lay bulky on those sides, and nobody likes a fat or bulky closure, right ladies? I actually got this tip from Hair by Erica J. I love her YouTube channel. She's great. She offers a lot of great tips for stylists, whether you're a beginner or advanced. And once I cut those two side tabs off, I just go ahead and proceed to lay my glue. I like to lay using a popsicle stick. I just feel like that's the most sanitary way. Sometimes I'll use the end of my rat tail comb as well. You just want to make sure that you're getting smooth, thin layers of the glue, and make sure in between each layer you're waiting until the glue dries clear. Ladies, please make sure it dries clear. If the glue does not dry clear and it's still white and you continue applying layers on top of layers on top of layers, and then you lay the lace down while it's still white, it's pretty much going to stay white even after it dries. There's not going to be anything you can do but peel it off, clean it off, relay it, and nobody wants to do that. When you're a hairstylist, ladies, time is money and money is time, okay? And we don't have any time to waste, so we want to make sure we do everything right the first time around. So make sure those layers are dried clear. And then you'll see I'm just basically pressing the lace down into the glue. And I use the blow dryer to help speed up the drying process to help the glue turn clear. And then what I'm going to do after I lay the lace is take a Senex strip and tie it around the front of the closure, just like how you see people do with the blah, blah, blah. Forget all that. The silk or satin wraps, I don't have any of those, so I just use the Senex strips. Works the same. So I fast forwarded through the process. Right now I'm just showing you guys the stitching process of sewing the hair in. She had 3 bundles in the closure. I also colored her hair as well. It's her first time trying color. Well, her second time. The first time was a fail. I didn't do it though. Somebody else did it. So I told her we was going to get her right this time with some simple browns, blondes. You know, you can never go wrong with browns and blondes for the fall, ladies. So yes, and you'll see I'm just basically showing you guys that sewing in a horseshoe pattern until you get to the top. You should basically be able to line your tracks up perfectly around the closure and make sure that everything is stitched flat, secure, and it lines up perfectly with the closure. And you don't want it to be bulky or anything like that on the sides of the closure. It should literally fit and lay perfectly on the perimeter of that closure. So right now I'm just going ahead and part her off, and I'm going to take some foam in a second here after I make sure her part is in the middle. Ladies, please make sure those parts are in the middle. Nobody likes a side middle part or schmiddle part or whatever you guys want to call it. Just make sure those parts are in the middle, ladies. So yes, you'll see me here taking some Nairobi foam And I'm just basically applying that to her closure and working that through, because what it's going to do is help that closure lay flat and mold it to stay in the position that you want it to be in, which is flat in the middle. And I'm just working it through with my rat tail comb, smoothing it out, making sure everything is flat. And use as much as you need to use to help you get that mold perfectly. And once you get that mold perfectly, you'll see me take another Sanex strip and I'm going to wrap it around basically to help it stay molded in that shape, in that direction. And I'm going to place her under the dryer. The dryer is going to basically just help seal and lock up everything and make sure the mousse dries and holds the style correctly. She's out from under the dryer now. I'm taking my slick stick. I don't use the Care. I like the Renutrient slick stick. I feel like it works the same. It's just less oily as the Care. And then they're also discontinuing the Care. So this is good. You basically want to take your hot comb. And ladies, when I tell you can never hot comb too much, hot comb is your best friend when doing closures or frontals. When I tell you, you can literally hot comb that thing like 500 times, it ain't gonna do nothing but make it more flatter, more sleeker, more lay and slay, hunty. Okay, so once you take that slick stick and apply it to the closure or frontal at the top and smooth it out, it just helps with the shine and to lay the flyaways and everything. You want to go ahead and hot comb that thing out. Okay, look at Dancing Diva in the background making her cameo. One of my clients had came in and she had her daughter with her. It's typically no kids allowed at the salon. So if you guys are watching this and are potential future clients, please don't get any bright ideas because it's no kids allowed at the salon. But I made an exception for my girl because they was on their way to a funeral after she finished getting her hairstyle by me. So yes, you'll just see me hot combing that thing over and over and over again because you can never hot comb too much. So unfortunately, my phone died when I was in the process of cutting her lace off. But what I did was basically take a razor comb and not a razor comb, but a blade razor or a small scissors. You can use either one and just cut jagged. Don't cut straight across because you don't want that straight across lace look to cut the lace off. And just get as close to the hair as possible. And then I took the Ruby Kisses in a shade lighter than what I used for her forehead for the stocking cap and placed it on her part just for a super crisp part. And I used like a little small tiny concealer brush for that. You don't want to OD on the makeup, ladies. Just a little bit goes a long way. And then right here, you'll see me taking the little hairs and I'm about to cut them now to do the baby hairs. Baby hairs are honestly not as hard as people think. I think you guys overthink them a little bit when doing them. I like to use hairspray. You'll see I'll take out the Got2b spray and a little edge brush. And what I do is basically spray the spray onto the edge brush and then proceed to mold my baby hairs in the direction that I want to go in. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get it right, but just keep getting it until it's exactly how you want it to be. And then you'll see the finished product afterwards. It'll fast forward a little bit. But yeah, that's basically what I do to lay my edges. Sometimes I use Nairobi foam and put them under the dryer, but this way is much faster and easier. And then I always like to direct my clients to do this way when touching up their baby hairs at home, because you run the risk of messing your lace up when trying to use that foam. The Nairobi foam, it can sometimes cause it to lift. I think with the hairspray it helps because the hairspray actually acts as a little glue sometimes. So if it is lifting a little bit and you spray it with the hairspray, it'll help lay it down. And you'll see here now I'm just hot combing more and more. I think we were laughing at Miss Dancing Diva in the background because she is a mess. But yeah, you'll just see me hot combing that install over and over again to make sure her hair is super flat and super sleek. And then I just went in with a little bit more of the slick stick to smooth everything out. And I flattened her hair out for a nice press. That part is in the middle, honeys. It is a bone straight. And you guys can see now we ended up with a flawless closure install. Yes. You'll see she's going to be playing in her hair a little bit to show you guys the color. I think the color turned out really good. It's really good for beginners who's scared to try a little bit of color, but it's still a pop. And she's popping for the fall, ladies. Yes. I love a middle part bone straight. That is the original bad bitch hairstyle. Okay?
With some meat braids.
And thank you guys so much for watching.
I gotta act up now.
Period. Say no.
You about to get the crips? I know you about to act up. I already know. She about to get her hair done. She about to act up too.